What's good, YouTube? It's your boy, Mr. Taylove, and thank you for tuning in again, man. And I really just want to talk to y'all, man. Like, real talk. So, man, I hope everybody been good, man. Hope everybody's been having a blessed week, man. I hope it's just been good for y'all, man. Like, real talk. I was gonna record a whole nother video where I wanted to ask a question and just get some feedback from you guys about it. But I'll record that video probably tomorrow or something. But tonight I just been, you know, I had one of those moments and I was just like, man, I didn't even want to talk about that no more. I was like, man, let me just cut the camera on and talk, man. Just vent a little bit, just talk, man. Sometimes y'all just need to hear me, you know what I mean? Like, you know, doing those videos, you know, tips and, you know, all the fun videos are fun and all, but sometimes I just like to talk, man. And I need to talk, so we gon' talk. Just to give y'all a little bit of background about me, man. When I was a kid, I always wanted to be a star. Like, when I was, I'm gonna literally tell you, when I was a little kid, I mean, I'm talking about, like, you know, just being able to talk and walk. I've always wanted to be a star. Like, I've known that I wanted to be a star and what I wanted to do. You know, I started off with, I remember in elementary school, man, we used to have these lip sync contests, man. And me and my friends, you know, we would we got together for the lip sync contest, and we did, I think the song was Tootsie Roll, man. That's crazy because, like, the song is very inappropriate for some elementary school kids to be up there performing to, but we did. You know, but we performed this song Tootsie Roll in front of the whole school, man, and the school went crazy. Like, they loved our performance. I remember, like, the next year everybody was talking about us and everything. Like, we was just like the cool kids because of that. And the next year we did it again, and this time they were expecting us. Like, we even got help from our music teacher, and she ended up, like, giving us the whole room to practice. So we actually got to get out of class to go practice. Like, we didn't practice after school or anything. We actually got out of class just to go practice for this, because how big it was. And it was almost like they catered to us so we can, you know, they can make it fun, you know, because we were gonna make it just live, you know. And so we end up this time we end up doing Crisscross. We did I Missed the Bus. I remember that track. You know, when I missed the bus, I missed the bus. Yeah, so we did that, man. We had all kind of stuff, man. We had, you know, we had some of my friends doing backflips, man. We was doing, like, it was crazy. Like, the performance was crazy. You know, I helped choreograph and, you know, put everything together, and just really was the leader in the group or whatever. And it's just that right there, just that feeling of the crowd going crazy and everything. Like, I've always wanted that, man. So moving on, you know, moving from, you know, elementary school to middle school. Middle school is the time that I actually, like, I was always singing a little bit, but in middle school I really just got into singing. And I remember in choir class, my friend, he used to beatbox, man. His name was Tank, man. I remember he used to beatbox all the time, whatever. And when he started beatboxing, I remember one day I was singing The Lion Sleeps Tonight. I was singing that song or whatever, and I was singing to his beatbox, you know what I mean? And the whole classroom, they all circled around me, and I'm singing and stuff. And just that feeling of everybody just tuning in to me, that, like, I loved it. And moving forward from that, I got into theater arts class, and we had we did, well, in that we did lip sync contests too, but this time we were going to like different schools and stuff, and we would do lip sync. And at this time, you know, Jagged Edge was hard, man. It was my group. So we used to do Let's Get Married. You know, we would go to different schools and perform that, which we never won. We always got like 3rd or 2nd place. But when we would go to these competitions, man, like all the girls and stuff, they treated us like we was like B2K or something. Like it was crazy. Like we would be in there having to take pictures with little kids and stuff, and people would come up to want to talk to us and stuff. It was crazy. Like it was like we was big. I was big, and I didn't even, you know, wasn't trying to. You know, it was just we was performing these songs, but we would put on such a performance, man, that we was just cold. We used to call ourselves the boys. But doing that, man, just like I loved it. You know, I love the crowd. I love, you know, just being in front of everybody, man. I've always been that person, dancing, singing. I've always been that guy. When I got to high school, well, even if I bounce back in middle school, man, my voice started changing. You know, I used to have a higher pitched voice, so I used to sing real high and everything. But then my voice got all deep all of a sudden, and I remember singing and in the class in front of everybody, and I just cracked so bad, and it was so embarrassing, and I stopped singing. You know, I wasn't singing no more. It was just like, man, I'm gonna take a break from singing, man. I gotta figure this out. Like, it was terrible. It was embarrassing. So I was always afraid to sing in front of people at that point. And I got to high school, and I was like, well, I ain't gonna sing. I'm just gonna dance. You know what I mean? So I joined this step team. We had a step team, whatever, and I had one of my homies from church. You know, he was on the step team. He was telling me showing me like their performances, and I was like, man, y'all get to perform in front of people like that. And it was like these big old competitions, and he put me on to that. So I got on the step team, man, and started dancing, you know, and stepping. You know, we used to always cut on some music, and you'd start dancing for the females and all that. The females go crazy and stuff. But I did that, man, and I loved it, man. It was like the crowd. This was a different type of crowd, you know, because this was an older crowd. These were high school kids. So at these competitions, like, when I say it was a lot of people in there, it looked like a concert. So when I started dancing and stuff, man, like, I'm talking about the crowd would go nuts. I'm talking about nuts. And I used to just love that, man. It was just fun. And that time of my life, I could say that I truly knew what I wanted. Like I had, you know, I did it as a kid and everything, but just that feeling like I had to be in front of a crowd. And getting older, you know, after I graduated, I ended up, you know, I was doing my music and everything, and doing my music, I was by myself at first, so I wasn't really, you know, I didn't get to perform, be in front of anybody or whatever, because I didn't really understand the game. But I ended up just kept working on music, and this is back in MySpace days. I linked up with my homeboy. His name was DJ, man. Like, and he could sing, you know what I mean? And I used to be like, man, this dude can sing. And I asked him to collab, and we ended up forming a group. And from that group, it started off as a duo, but then we ended up getting 2 other members, and we put this group together, and like, we just clicked, and we was just making great music together. And then we ended up getting management, and then once we got management, we started doing shows, man. We were back in front. I was back in front of the crowd, you know, and man, I loved it. And we were getting so far into the game, man. I've opened up. I even say not just me. It was us. We've opened up for all kind of artists. I remember the biggest performance we opened up. We opened up for Genuine, man. And when I say, man, like, the crowd was crazy. Like, this was like one of the biggest performances I can say, because like the crowd was going crazy, like crazy. And it was just a live performance, and it was just fun, man. It's just fun, just the energy, man. Just your adrenaline's going, and you just making people feel good, man. And that's what I've always loved about being in front of people. Just make people smile, make people just feel good. And coming into after you know, me and the group were together, we ended up breaking up. We got, you know, we basically had a deal on the table, and I'm not gonna name the label that it was, but it was a major label. We had a deal on the table, and we ended up getting to this big old argument, and we broke up, and it was like, dang. And from there, it was like, I felt like everything was like everything I had been working for this whole time was gone. And I didn't know how I was gonna like get myself back. Like, how was I gonna get back into this? Like, so, but during that time frame of being in a group, that's when I was like really picking into graphic design, because I was doing all of our promotional material and stuff like that, and you know, designing our Facebook pages and I'm sorry, our MySpace pages and stuff like that. And I picked up a lot of clientele doing that. So after the group was done, I was in graphic design. I was behind the scene, and I just got deeper and deeper into it, and I was going hard on graphic design. And then from graphic design, like on the MySpace page, you know, I always needed pictures of the artists when they would hit me up. And I'd be like, you got any pictures? And they'd be like, no. And if they was in my area, I'd be like, well, I got a camera, let me take a picture of you. So I started taking these pictures of people, and then I end up getting models hitting me up like, hey, you did my homeboy, you know, pictures for his MySpace page, you know, do you do anything for models? And I was just like, nah, but we can try. So I tested out and I started doing that. And that's what got me into photography. Like, I got strong in the photography, and I was just going. I remember when I first started photography, I was charging $35 a photo shoot, man. And when I say I used to have photo shoots after photo shoots, like, and this was in my mom's house in my room. I had a backdrop set up. I would do full photo shoots in my room. All I had was a couch. So I used to sleep on the couch because I wanted to have room for my stuff. So I didn't have no bed in there. It was a straight just couch. And that couch that I had was the couch I used all the time for my photo shoot. It was this white couch, a little small white couch. Like, I couldn't fit my whole body on the couch. I would get a little chair so I can put my feet out, and I would lay on the couch with my feet out. That's how it was. That's how I was doing it. But it molded me, man. I actually started getting really good at photography and doing more photography. And then after photography, it was like I started getting this itch to want to do video stuff, because I went to my homeboy's video, which was Dejo, who I linked up with again later on, and he was doing music and he had a video and I was supposed to do the photography for it. So while I was there was the videographer. He had a camera. It wasn't even, you know, this was a DSLR camera, and it was like, this was the first time DSLR I had ever seen one. It was a T2i. And he was like, yeah, you can shoot videos with that. And he was like, it's not that expensive. And I was like, what? You can shoot a video with that? And I was like, man, I could shoot videos. So you know what? I ended up getting the camera, and I started shooting videos from there, man. And after I started shooting videos, that put me in a whole nother bracket. Now I'm shooting videos now. So on to that, I'm not only doing photography, graphic design, doing video, man. You know, I was already doing barbering. I was cutting since I was a kid, so it was like I'm doing all of this now. Like I'm really like learning all this, like, and I started getting good at it, like really good. And I kept on, and I got to a point where I was like, I needed a job, because, you know, I was making money doing it, but it just wasn't enough. Like I wanted to get a job, because I wanted to move out of my parents' house at that time, you know, because I had moved back in, because I had moved out earlier, but I ended up moving back in, and I was trying to move back out because I was trying to get myself back in order. But the crazy thing is, I look back now, like, I didn't get to be, you know, do the music like I wanted to, and I didn't make it to that point that I saw myself making it at that age. But when I look at it now, if it wasn't for me getting into the music, I would not know how to do graphic design at all. I wouldn't, because I would have never picked it up to try to do covers, the MySpace pages, in which doing MySpace pages, I learned how to do web design, because you got to know a little bit of code to figure out how to do that. So I look at it, everything was in place. You know, it may not have worked, but they were in place. Like God was putting things in place for me, and I didn't even know it. And moving on from there, like I used to try to get jobs, like design jobs, and all the jobs would say that you had to have a degree to get the job. And I remember this one job, I thought I was gonna get it, man. It was, I remember they were paying like $30 an hour, and I was like, ooh, $30 an hour, man. I'm young, man, and making $30 an hour, I'm gonna be dope, man. That's gonna be dope. And I speak to them, and they're like, you know, you don't have a degree, you know, you got some nice work, but you don't have a degree. And from there, I was shut down because I was like, now I got to go to school, you know, to do this. And me, I don't like school. I'm not a school person. Like, I don't really like going to school. Like, I just can't go to a school and do book work like that. And it just hasn't been for me. Barber college is different, y'all, because I'm cutting all day. It's like you go to class for like an hour, you cut, you do another class for like another hour, then you go back and you cutting all day. So it's not, that's, to me, barber college is not like school. Well, for me it ain't, because when I get in there, I just cut. But going forward though, man, I was trying to get a job, man. I didn't get that job, and I gave up on trying to find a job. So I just started doing my own stuff, man, and I built up my brand, the mrtaeloves Designs, and I was designing with mrtaeloves Designs, you know, and going into that, and I built up my portfolio. So, you know, it was building up big, and then I ended up doing work for my church. So at this point, I'm doing graphic design for my church, and I'm going in on these graphics too. I'm like, I'll make some dope stuff for my church. And from there, I built up an even stronger portfolio, because now I was doing so much content of work that my portfolio was getting large. And just from doing mixtape covers, you know, web design, logo design, even with my Geek Heroes, man, like I put together such a huge portfolio that I was like, man, I'm gonna go and look for a job, and I'm gonna find me one. I wanna get a graphic design job, and I'm gonna go find me one. So I went, started looking, and I get a call from this one job. You know, at first I was a little discouraged, because I was like, man, I ain't gonna be able to get a job. Like, I gotta have a degree, but at least I'll try, you know what I mean? So I do it, and I get this one job, and it's for this card company where it said Photoshop experience. I saw it on Craigslist. It was like, you need Photoshop experience. We deal with greeting cards. So I get to the place, and they put together greeting cards. Like, that's what they do. It's a card company. And I get to the job, and she's asking me about my experience, and I tell her, and she was like, I tell her how long I had, and she's like, oh wow, you know, you've been doing this for a while. And I'm like, yeah, you know, I showed my portfolio, and she was like, whoa, you know, you got some real nice stuff. And I get the job, you know, so I'm like, whoa, I got my first design job. And then while I'm at this job, man, like, I'm really not designing. I was taking logos and putting company logos on a card that was already designed. So I really wasn't doing anything, just moving stuff around in Photoshop, changing the file size or whatever. And that was it. It was boring. It was completely boring. I was like, you know, I wanted a design job, God gave me one, and this is where I end up. So I'm like, nah, I gotta find something else. But that job told me that, hey, I can find some, I just gotta keep looking. So I start looking, I start putting in applications in other jobs or whatever, and then I see this one job in which this company, I had seen this company forever, man, and I was always looking for this company to, you know, even see if they're hiring, and they were never hiring. So I just was like, yeah, okay, that's cool, but I've always known about them, and I always thought it'd be dope to work there. And I end up seeing that they had an ad in Craigslist, and I was like, man, I'm gonna apply for this job, and this is, you know, will be a real design job, you know. So I send my resume over to them, and I go in for the interview, kill the interview, and I get the job. I go into, let me tell you this, I went to the interview like I went on a Wednesday. Yeah, no, I went 1 week, okay? I went to 1 week, I did the interview, and I had to do a second interview. So that second interview was like on a Thursday. Had that interview on that Thursday, I started that job that next Monday. Ended up working there at a real design job with no degree, y'all. So I'm making this video, man, because, you know, what changed me to make me want to make this video is I was talking to my wife, and, you know, she's going through her transition of trying to get things how she wants, and, you know, her direction of what she wants to do and everything. And sometimes it takes time, you know, God has to take you through certain things to put you where you need to be. Because if I never would have tried to do music, I wouldn't have known design. If I never would have tried design, I wouldn't know photography. If I wouldn't tried photography, I wouldn't know video. if I wouldn't have done any of that, y'all would not be seeing me today, because I'm able to do all this stuff, even the way I make my videos look, when I'm people with my thumbnails, all that. I use all the skills I got and put it into one. So God prepares you for everything, man. Like, you just have to be ready to keep moving forward, like I said. And like, real talk, y'all have to keep in mind that everything is a process. Like everything that you're going through, you're gonna look back later on like, oh, that's why. You know what I mean? And this whole time that I was moving forward, I used to beat myself up because I'm like, man, I'm not living my dream. I'm not living my dream. And you know, the music didn't work out. I'm not living my dream. Didn't get the design job at first. I'm not living my dream. Even when back in middle school, when my throat cracked, I wasn't living my dream. Like, I wanted to live my dream and I wasn't. And I felt like I wasn't. But I never really paid attention to, was I living, you know, was I in my purpose? You know what I'm saying? Like, am I truly in my purpose? You know, because your dreams and your purpose is totally different. You know, God put you here for a reason, but he puts these dreams inside of you to go forth and do those as well. But your purpose is what God uses for his kingdom. You know what I'm saying? So my purpose my purpose is to inspire people. Like, I love inspiring people. Like, I've always loved inspiring people, because I love seeing people smile. Love seeing people like feel great, make them feel good, to make them want to do more and just be excited. And I love that. And I've always been that way. And it took me until I got at the last design job to realize that, hey, I may not had things work out how I wanted. Even like my Geek Hero series, it didn't pop up how I thought it was gonna go. It didn't go as far as I wanted it to. My music, I've dropped projects, it didn't go the way they wanted it to. It's just a lot of things that I wanted to go a certain way, they didn't go that way. But through the time of me trying and doing it, I've inspired so many people. Like, I get so many people that I know and that I don't know that hit me up and say, hey man, you truly inspired me, man. I have people that I know that say, hey, I wouldn't be doing what I'm doing if it wasn't for you. You know, like, so I've been living in my purpose the whole time, which me living in my purpose put me in place to live my dream. And right now I feel like I'm living my dream. It's not exactly how I want it, but right now I'm living my dream. So think about the things that you have done. Think about who you've touched, things you've done, just period. And see, have you been living your dream this whole time? Have you been living in your purpose this whole time? Like, that's a huge question. Y'all, I'm sorry for making this video long, man. I just need to talk. And I appreciate y'all time, like, real talk. Like, if you watched this whole video, I appreciate your whole time. If you clicked off, it's cool. It's cool. But I just want to talk. And I just wanted to tell y'all that live in your purpose. Live in your purpose. You know what your purpose is, you just have to pay attention. Because I never knew that inspiring people was my purpose until later on. I just love to inspire people, but I didn't know that that tied into the kingdom. And it does. You know, inspiring people helps people to move forward and do things that they were meant to do. And if I'm pushing people to do the things they were meant to do, that means I'm pushing people to do the things that God put in their hearts to do. So, are you living in your purpose? Are you living your dreams? Stay blessed, stay locked. It's your boy, mrtaeloves. Y'all make sure y'all click that link, go and subscribe. Subscribe. Everybody say